Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Game, Cotulla Backroads and Ball Games. I'm your host, Mamman Sanchez, and today's episode is one that I've been looking forward to for quite a bit now. Joining me is Bubba Hillje, a proud Cotulla High School alumnus, class of 1986. His story is a testament to resilience, leadership, and what it means to represent Cotulla with pride. Mr. Hillje played varsity football for the Cotulla Cowboys from 1983 to 1985. Holding multiple positions such as inside linebacker, tackle, tight end, defensive end, and even kicker. After high school, he walked on at Texas A&M, where he became a part of the legendary 12th Man Kickoff Team, earning letters and eventually being named team captain and MVP in his senior year. But his story doesn't stop there. He went on to serve as a U.S. Marine Corps officer and naval aviator for 9 years before transitioning into a successful aviation career. Today, he's a B-767, 757 captain with UPS Airlines, and it's an honor to have him on our podcast. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Mr. Hillje, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with one of my classmates' sons. It makes me proud.
Yes, sir. So let's start at the very beginning. You know, you played multiple positions on the varsity football team during your time at Cotulla High School. Inside linebacker, tackle, right end, defensive end, and kicker. I mean, that's typical Ironman football for small town Cotulla. You got to play everything. You know, you can't just stick to one position. You know, and coaches won't let you even at this point. So, how did playing so many roles shape your perspective on the game and your connection to the team?
You know, as your dad will attest, you know, we didn't have organized football until we were in 8th grade. So there was no Pop Warner League. There was no Pee Wee League. We didn't even have 7th grade football. So when we first put on helmets and pads, I actually was a quarterback.
That sounds about right.
I was a tall, skinny dude. And it wasn't until my sophomore year that I put on a little meat that they decided, nah, he needs to be on the line. So but I was a linebacker pretty much the entire time, except for my sophomore tour with the JV. But no, I mean we did what we had to do because we were just short people, you know, which is a fantastic thing about being at a place like Cotulla, to where you have the opportunity to try so many things, because you don't really know what you're going to be good at until you get a chance to try it out. So I would say that playing all those different positions, you know, was not only a necessity for the team, you know, because everybody did whatever we needed to do to try to be successful. So that made us tighter, because, you know, everybody was contributing any way they could to try to make us successful. So I would say putting on all those hats, you know, just proved that, you know, you did what you needed to do to support your team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what drew you to football, you know, at the beginning?
Well, my mom didn't want me to play football at all. My dad didn't tell me not to play football because he blew his knee. He's a 19. Oh, so my dad played at Cotulla also with your grandfather. They were teammates too. How's that for lineage, huh?
Yes, sir. That sounds.
And he blew out his knee his sophomore year, and he played for the next 2 years, but that was back when they were real old school. They would wrap his knee when it would swell up. They would go in and suck the fluid with a needle off on the sidelines, and then he would go back in again.
Golly, yeah, that would never fly.
That was iron football back then. But no, I was drawn to football because you know, I guess I grew up around a bunch of girls. I have 2 sisters. There's 14 granddaughters on my dad's side and just 4 grandsons. And the older 2 were like way older than me. And the youngest one was way younger than me. And I needed to do something a little more masculine, I guess.
And so do you have a favorite memory or game from your time playing in Cotulla? You know, something that still stands out to this day?
Oh, man. I wish you gave me more time to think about that one. You know, I had a disappointing senior year because I tore ligaments in my right ankle very early, which a lot of my scholarship opportunities that I was getting floated kind of vaporized because of that. But I think the first regular season game my senior year was a very special one. It was the one time when I listed tight end. That was the one time I got to play tight end. but I had 26 tackles in the game. I had an interception. I almost ran back for a touchdown. I let my testosterone get the best of me, and the defender who stopped me from making it over the goal line was coming at me, and I was convinced I was just going to run him over. Well, he submarined me, and
Ooh.
and I landed literally about a yard from the goal line.
Oh man, so close.
But had 68 yards of receiving, so that was probably the best game, total game offense and defense of my entire career. But yeah, I'd say that was probably my fondest memory. That and yeah, that one was good, and we won the game. So
Yeah, no, that had you lost, I think I'd still think you'd probably think about that one, but it definitely feels a lot better, a little more worth it, when you come out with the win after something like that.
Yeah, that or my last game of my junior year, we played Hondo there, and I needed 18 tackles to break the school record, and I got 19.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but we didn't win that game. But
But yeah, there you go. But you still got a record. I mean, that's something.
yeah.
That's
I don't
something
know.
that
I
goes
don't know
with
who
it.
owns it now because I think it got blown away because I had 139 tackles in 9 games, and I'm thinking pretty with the championship Cowboy teams that went on to play for state. Whoever was sitting linebacker there probably did a lot better than that.
I mean, I'd be kind of interested to go back and see if they did or if they didn't. That'd be a very interesting, I guess, gathering of information.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to Mr. Flowers, Shannon Flowers' dad. We used to write the sports section in the Cotulla Record, no, the hometown paper. Do we still have a Cotulla Record?
No, we don't. Now
Okay, yeah,
rely on yourself.
we used to have a town newspaper, and he kept all the statistics for all the sports. So he would have been the guy to pull that information from.
Yeah, man. Maybe that's something that Cotulla needs to start back up again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got to think about this. Cotulla has had good athletes all through its history. Sometimes people forget that because we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. So, a funny side story. So, I didn't grow up in town. I grew up down 624 on a ranch about 20 miles out of town. And they have that highway service sign there that says next gas to 93.
Yes.
It said 87 whenever I was in high school. So, but when people think about being from the middle of nowhere and they see a sign like that, they go, "We're in the middle of nowhere now."
Yeah, exactly. Make you think twice.
Yeah. So I think growing up in Cotulla, sometimes you feel like maybe you're too far from everything for people to notice, but that's not true. Cotulla's done real well for itself at different times. So, you always got to keep that hope and perspective that, you can make it from anywhere, and you can make it from Cotulla.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I completely agree with you. So, during high school, were there any coaches or mentors who left a lasting impact on you?
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Adams, my assistant head coach. We were his first coaching job after he left playing as a professional athlete. So he played for used to be the St. Louis Cardinals, and he was a scholarship lineman for the University of Nebraska. And no, he was the guy who got me in the weight room. He was the guy who told me that the sky's the limit as long as I was willing to pay the price. And he kind of drove me to get better and to get in the gym and to get stronger and to get faster. And no, he definitely is a big influence on my life. And he would work out with me at times. Funny story is he actually, at the end of two-a-days, he put on his Nebraska uniform and actually scrimmaged with us at one of the games, scrimmaged with us in the final practice of two-a-days. And I was one of the bigger guys on the team, but nowhere near Joe Adams. He's like 6'5". He had slimmed down by that time. He was probably only about 250. But he was like Adonis. He was solid muscle. There was no fat on the man. And he lined up at running back and ran a dive straight at me. and I hit him in the hole and took him down, but he ended up on top of me. He reaches down with one hand, grabs me by my shoulder pad, pulls me to my feet, and is like, "Good hit, Hillje." It's a little bit demoralizing, but it was a good introduction to things to come when I got to A&M. So
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially seeing a man that big, you know.
No, but Joe Adams is definitely my biggest influence to be successful in giving me the tools and the mindset to know what it would take to go to the next level and to be successful while I was there at Cotulla.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, and that's awesome. That's awesome here, and that's a testament to, you know, some other kid. You know, the coaches aren't always trying to get on you. You know, they have the keys to success, as some have been, you know, at that level. You know, they knew what it takes. They knew the sacrifice. You know, the big difference of you know, simply just working out because your coach says, and working out, you know, on your own to be successful.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, I mean, it's especially those guys that go on into professional careers, nobody holds your hand. There's only natural athletes, like 1% at each level. So when you go from junior high to high school, you got guys who are all state. Well, there's one or two of those guys who probably don't have to work out, but the rest of them do. Then you go to college, there's like 0.5% that don't have to work out, but might. Then you go to the pros and it's like 0.01% because everybody has to work out. Everybody has to be a disciple of the game. Everybody has to know your position, the guy's position on either side of you, and what those guys across from you are doing. So, it's a whole different mindset. And Coach Adams, he had that because he played for Nebraska, who at that time was a national powerhouse. He actually played in a national championship game against Miami.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then he went on to play in the pros for, at the time, I think St. Louis Cardinals were pretty good too. So, he knows, he knew that mindset, and he was able to transfer his experience onto me to tell me that, hey, you're the captain of your own ship. It's up to you to be how good you want to be. Because, there were going to be better athletes than me, but they weren't going to work harder than me.
Yes,
and
sir.
That's kind of what he instilled in my mind. It's like, there's always going to be there's going to be a Deion Sanders out there, because they're like, hey, how fast was Deion? We don't know. He was fast as he needed to be, because whenever he had to turn on the gas, he had an extra gallon in there. He could turn it on. So that's one of the lessons I learned, I guess.
Yes, sir. No, for sure. So then after graduating in 1986, alongside my dad, by the way, you walked on at Texas A&M, a bold move. Tell us about what it was like to join the 12th man kickoff team, and when it was still a team and not an individual, and that experience taught you about perseverance.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'll try to, how long can this podcast be?
As long as you want it to be.
So I the initial plan wasn't necessarily to go to A&M. I had gotten an appointment to West Point to play for Army. And I went up on a recruiting trip up to West Point, and not having any family in the military. When I got up there and they found out they were like offer on the table, and I was like, is it really an offer when you got to pay you back 8 years in the military after you walk off the football field? So I was just intimidated. I didn't know if I was up for that. That was upstate New York, and I'd only been out of Cotulla. I'd been only out of the state one other time, not counting Nuevo Laredo, going to Colorado. So I was just intimidated. So I didn't know if that was for me. And my older sister went to A&M, and she kept encouraging me to go and join the Corps of Cadets. And she goes, you just need to do one of those ROTC scholarships. Well, A&M had offered for me to walk on. So I was looked into these ROTC scholarships and found out if I could get this Marine Corps ROTC scholarship, I could take it the first year with no obligation. So, So the idea is if I could get one, I could walk on the football team, take the military scholarship, which didn't pay for everything. It paid for my tuition, my educational fees, and my books, $100 tax-free a month. But I had to come with room and board, which I'd worked every summer since I was 12 years old, so I had money saved up. But I figured in the spring, I could get a football scholarship, drop the Marine Corps scholarship, voila, pay for school. Good plan, bad execution. So A&M, when I walked on as an inside linebacker, pretty much every person I backed up in all 4 years went on to play in the pros,
Wow.
to include the number 2 draft pick in the NFL, Quentin Coriat. So
Wow.
I realized pretty quickly that this slow white boy, the hard head, probably wasn't going to get a scholarship. So, but the 12th man kickoff team was an avenue for me to get playing time. And it was very different because unlike what it evolved to being the one guy who they were all fighting each other for the opportunity to start, we were a squad. So it was much like we were in Cotulla with as small of a team as we had. We were all fighting together to do the best we could to win. And that's kind of the way we were as a 12th man kickoff team. The varsity players really had to respect us because we had to go full speed all the time, which really made them mad because, when you're in drills, they don't want to be going full speed.
Yeah.
But when you got some walk-on smacking you in the mouth, which isn't a real good idea when you're doing it to an All-American because he's going to smack you back a little harder than you just smacked him, especially as underclassmen. But that was just what we did because we knew we were there. We were there to do one job, which is just cover the kickoffs. But going into spring ball and even the regular season, coaches knew they could use us to prevent injury to backups. So we were the scout team notes, linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties, running backs, wide receivers. We were all the skill position guys out there playing. There were none of us big enough to line up as linemen, but so they used us extensively. Matter of fact, my senior year, I ran the scout team defense against the first team offense.
Oh, wow.
And then whenever the rotation would go, I would go get my reps on the defense when the second team was out. So, yeah, it was a beating.
You were always out there then. You didn't get a little break.
Yeah. It was kind of like being back at Cotulla a little bit. But no, I mean the perseverance and how hard we had to work when we were in Cotulla and the conditions we worked on. I mean, you guys had it great. Y'all had AstroTurf, man. We had goat head stickers in the back lot back there and a lot of dirt and gravel. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah. So we actually have a name. It's called the Pit. And it was still there whenever I was around, and our field. Oh man, I can't say, not trying to talk bad about whoever was keeping up with it, but man, you had a big old dirt patch in the middle, and if it rained, it was like concrete.
Oh, yeah.
And the same thing in the end zone. There was like a really nice patch of grass in the end zone. That's where you wanted to reach every time. It was on the right side. I remember that. But no, that pit was there, and it was I think I want to say they probably kept it just to toughen us up. They would make you do bear crawls on purpose.
Yeah, that's right.
The seniors were trying to knock you and drag you through that dirt, and then with all the sweat you had on your face.
They say that was just not kill you, makes you stronger, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure. No, the pit was still there. Now, of course, they have grass down there. They, I think I want to say they paint another football field, so it's a little practice field, and then you have that really nice turf stadium. It's definitely been revamped.
Yeah. So your experiences from junior high through high school, they carry you. I mean, those every step's a building block.
Yes.
all the way through life. I mean, those experiences made me who I was, and also helped me succeed whenever I graduated and became a Marine officer too. I mean, the same lessons in perseverance, the same lessons in handling adversity, the same lessons in knowing how to resolve conflict and how to foster teamwork with your teammates, and the whole bonding experience that each step along the way makes.
Yes, sir.
That all those things make you grow, and all those things help you be successful later.
Yes, sir.
And that was kind of what moving on to the 12th man kickoff team did. No, and I was fortunate. I was able to travel They took me as a backup linebacker, mostly my senior year, but some my junior year, only in title, never in play, but made me feel good that I still got, I still made it on the roster.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
you know, you uh, you take those successes and you run with them. I mean, it's like what I guess one of the things that I remember now that I think about it that drove me was all the way back in junior high before we had a football team. I think our English teacher, and I'm trying to remember her name, we had to write a paper, and basically that we had to read aloud in class, saying what is our dream, what would we love to do. And I think one of the things I wrote down was, I want to be a college football player. And of course, I think it elicited a laugh from most of the class. And I was like, wait a second, well, why can't I be? Is it because I'm from Cotulla? No, that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
It really. I mean, I think that was one of the things that really drove me. And then having people in my life who propelled me, like Coach Adams, that gave me the tools to be successful. Really got me to where I eventually arrived.
Yes, sir. So, whenever you're at A&M, you had a chance to play in a bowl game, correct?
Yes, yes. I wish I could pull it up for you. So we played the University of Pittsburgh in my final game, and out of 5 kickoffs, I had 4 of the tackles, and two of them were like free for alls. I got an instant replay from the reverse angle, and I don't think I can pull. Let's see if I can pull it up on my phone. I don't think I can. It's on my computer, but this is way too complicated to do this. I got an interview on the sideline from one of the sportscasters during the game on national TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was a heck of a way to go out.
Yeah, no, but you send it to me. You could always email. I'll post it on our page. That
Okay,
way
I'm
everybody
probably going to have
can
to
reference
email it
it.
to you because I'm trying to think of how I'm going to get this thing on here to where y'all can see it, because I'm thinking it's probably not going to look good with my iPhone going like this. But
Uh,
I'll forward it to you. But yeah, no, that was a pretty special way to go out, especially since, okay, so a little of the background. So during when Coach Sherrill left, Coach Slocum, who was my position coach and defense coordinator, took over. And since the kickoff team was so successful, they really couldn't get rid of it. But all of his new staff didn't believe in it at all, and they're like, "Oh, this is still a gimmick." So we our coach my senior year was literally one of my teammates. He was a scholarship wide receiver who'd never played a down of any special team ever, who was now the 12-man kickoff team coach. So we basically had to coach our coach. I'm like, Greg, come here. This is what we're going to do today. And anyway, so as we went through the year, the special teams coach changed our kickoff coverage package, and it wasn't as effective. But it wasn't as effective on the varsity either, because I knew, because I played on both.
mhm.
It just wasn't. It wasn't a good package. We played what we called a 6-3, which was like we had 6 lane guys, 3 ball guys, and then you had 2 safeties. So you had like a defense in depth. And he had what we called a 9-1, which is you had 9 guys all closing down and 1 safety, which you get a good runner who hits the seam north and south.
Mhm.
He only has to break 1 tackle, and then the safety's the only person stopping him there. So it just wasn't as effective. And so by the time at the end of my senior year, he wasn't allowing the full kickoff team to take the field. So being that I played on both the varsity and on the 12th man kickoff team, I was the only representative on the field on that final game for the 12th man. And ironically, I almost had every tackle on every kickoff. So I had 4 of the 5.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
kind of,
it translated, the
yeah.
senior, the most, I guess, experienced, person on the field was definitely leading that bunch. And speaking about that, by your senior year, you had earned, the respect of your teammates. Obviously you got voted captain and MVP of that 12th man.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a real proud moment.
yeah, oh, I
My
can imagine.
teammates thought that because it was both the scholarship guys and the walk-ons voted for that. So
Oh, okay. So, oh, wow. I mean, yeah, of course, that's even more special. That's a big part. The entire team.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
so
how did how did those leadership experiences on the field prepare you for the challenges you face later in life, particularly in the military and aviation?
yeah, it once again, every, every every step in your life, particularly playing team sports, girls, guys, I don't care, everybody, all your experiences of handling adversity, learning how to win, feeling disappointment of losing, in learning what it takes to overcome that and to do and to do better, to not to feel that again, and to also learn how to support your teammates, to try to encourage them. And that's the biggest thing, man, encouraging your teammates. Because a lot of times, especially when things get hard and things aren't going your way and people get down, it's knowing how to and what to say sometimes to try to uplift them, to try to take them. Hey, man, it's not over. We got to keep fighting. We got to. No, we're gonna win this. We're gonna beat this. But are you with me? So learning how to lift up your teammates, learning how to inspire people to be better was a real integral part in being a leader in the Marine Corps. To go to your troops, to go to your Marines and say, hey, you may not be feeling like, you Lance Corporal, you Private, you may not be feeling like that you're important, but you are, because you're a part of our team. And every man on this team, if one person fails, we all fail. So what you do is important, and we need you. And being able to convey to somebody that they have worth, and they do, because team means everyone. When you win, you win that district championship, everybody holds that trophy. It doesn't matter if you spent the entire time on the field or you sat on the sideline, you practiced every day. You're a part of that trophy. That there is no differentiation there. Though someone may get a bigger pat on the back, but it took that whole team to win that trophy. And that's what I think. I think that was the biggest lesson that really helped me as a leader in the Marine Corps, with conveying that to my troops, that every one of us is required, and we're all important, just in a different way.
Yes, sir. So, while we're on the topic of leadership, of course, after A&M, you were commissioned as an officer in the U.S. Marine Corps and became a naval aviator, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I spent 9 years. I flew the CH-53D. I'll pull up a picture of it because the only place you're going to find them are in museums and on sticks. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you're getting old when a lot of the airplanes that you've flown, you can only find them in museums now. So, and I can name 3 of them that I've flown that are all like that now.
Were any of them ever those little foam ones that you would win as prizes?
No. Okay, I'll try to. Whoops, wait a sec. We'll try to expand that to see if you can see it.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
So that is the 53 Delta Sea Stallion, and that's a 2-engine Vietnam version. The Marine Corps' new version was a 3-engine version. Now they even have a Kilo model that is even bigger than that.
Dang.
So yeah, I flew that as a division leader, section leader, terrain flight instructor, a night systems instructor. Was a director of standardization and safety for a squadron, and the aviation safety officer. Did that for the Navy training squadron that I went on. My last tour was actually as a T-34 instructor. So even though I flew helicopters in the Marine Corps, I started out flying fixed wing airplanes, as all naval aviators do, whether you're Navy or Coast Guard or Marine Corps. And then you transition helicopters. Then when I went back as an instructor, I flew T-34s as an instructor. So I actually had more airplane time than helicopter time. And that was good because whenever I decided I was going to make the Marine Corps career, I really wanted to fly as a profession. And getting a job flying jets when you've flown helicopters. I always kid people. It's like getting a date to prom with a third eye in your forehead. Sooner or later, someone look at you, go, all right, come on. So yeah. So anyway, I was able to transition to the civilian world. I got hired by one of Delta's commuter airlines, Atlantic Southeast Airline, ASA. Flew for them for about a year and a half and was able to upgrade to captain fairly quick with them. And then in 2001, got hired at UPS, and I've been here for 24 years now. I'm currently flying the Boeing 767 International. See, we can have a picture of the 76.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So that's the bigger of the two. It's a dual type rating. The 76 is about twice the size of a 757. But when I'm flying internationally, I'm usually flying the 7.6. When I'm flying domestically, usually it's a 7.5. So,
and all that carries cargo. So
all that carries cargo. Yep.
Wow.
I always say, and I'm sorry, folks, it's a joke in the industry, and it's not completely appropriate. But we like to say, as boxes don't bitch. And the only joker making fun of your last landing is going to mess it up on the next leg. So.
Oh, that's funny. That's too funny.
When I had flight attendants at ASA, if you had a firm landing, they'd always come out like, "What was that? What was that?" I said, "That's firm reassurance. You're safely on the ground. No, go get me another coat."
You made it. There's no plane.
That's right.
You did.
So no, it's fun. I love it. I can't believe I get to do it as a job. The only part about it that really kills me is that boxes, they may not complain, but they like to fly at night and all night.
Ooh, yeah.
So it was real fun to stay. I stayed up all night when I was 20, not so much when you're 57. So
that's funny that you say that, because like I was telling you earlier about my new equipment, it came overnight. So it came from New York, so somebody had to fly that late last night.
That's what I do. I may bounce, I just don't bounce back, and that's the issue.
So, funny question. How does flying for UPS compare to your time as a naval aviator?
The challenges are different. At this point in my career, it's kind of funny. So everybody, if I showed you the cockpit of a 767 and you saw all the dials, the gauges, the switches, that, a lot of people look at it and instantly get overwhelmed, right? Am I going, well, when you drive your car that you've owned for 5 years, do you get in there and like go, well, what all these buttons do? You know what they do because you've been in enough. So familiarity is there. I mean, at this point in my career, that what was difficult in the Marine Corps was the fact that your missions could be life and death. They could be real combat missions. They could be even in training. And I hate to say this, in training incidents in the 9 years that I was in the Marine Corps, I could probably name almost 20 people I know by name who either lost their lives or lost their aircraft in a mishap, just training to do what we do in combat. Wow. So it was a lot more dangerous, more challenging, obviously a lot more thrilling. It's a little benign flying at 35,000 feet in the middle of the night. You could, I always joke that if you want to know what it's like to be a cargo pilot, go get your DVD player, if y'all know what that is anymore. Put it on test screen, go get in your coat closet, turn the light off, turn the vacuum cleaner on, and every 30 minutes yell out, "I'm still here." Now you're a cargo pilot. So,
so do you see any parallels, between the teamwork and discipline of football and the skills needed as a pilot?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you still have a crew, you still have a team. It's a lot smaller. There's only 2 of you. And on an international flight, if it's over 8 hours, there'll be 3 of you. But you still need that leadership role as a captain. I have to set the tone for what my expectations are for the crew. What level of professionalism we need to maintain, what level of vigilance we need to maintain, and also how much fun we can squeeze out of the serious part. Because, hey, you got to have fun.
Especially on those long trips.
Yeah, you can't just be grinding all the time. You got, sometimes when things are tough, the only thing to get you through is a little humor. So,
Yes, sir.
the team's smaller, but all the concepts still apply. I mean, it's what you will learn as a team player in any team sport in Cotulla, Texas, will be a building block for everything else you do in life. Those lessons that you learn at the very basic level will continue to build. Now, you at every other level, you're going to learn something new. You're going to experience something a little different, but the basics are still the same. I mean, the basics never change.
Yes, sir.
Drive, determination, leadership, understanding, compassion. Um, you know, having I say drive, not only drive, but also just having determination. Those are basic things that you develop at the first level that just continue to build. So all your listeners out there, just know that everything you do now builds and will affect you for the rest of your life. Um, it's it just goes to the next level, but you still call it the same thing.
Yes, sir.
That makes sense.
Yes, sir. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
So, still on the topic of being or your pilot career, are there any standout stories or unique experiences that you've had,
Oh.
during that career?
Yeah, what's funny is as a military pilot, I never really had to declare any emergencies. As a civilian pilot and as a commercial pilot, I've had to declare quite a few. Um, they all give you a different perspective on how well you can handle panic. For instance, I was in a 757 as a first officer. We were coming back from San Jose, California, and we're just almost to Louisville. We're probably about 100 miles outside of St. Louis, and we're at 35,000 feet. We're probably doing 8.4. So Mach 8.4 is 84% of the speed of sound, right? So you're flying about as fast as a commercial airliner can fly, because the box has got to get there. And all of the windscreens in commercial jets are heated. They have these really tiny small filaments in between the planes of glass that are heated, because it's so cold at those altitudes that any moisture would stick to it, cause ice to form. So they have to be heated to keep that from happening. Well, in this case, those little filaments malfunctioned and they started melting together. So it was like someone was dragging an arc welder across my windscreen, which was a kind of disconcerting thing to see. And the emergency procedure will have you turn the power off to the windscreen so it'll stop that, because you don't want it exacerbating the situation. But the problem is that windscreen is being exposed to negative 54 degrees Celsius temperature. So it gets shock cooled instantaneously. And when it does, that glass now becomes brittle and it's shattered.
Oh no.
So it was like someone took a baseball bat in the middle of the night and just smacked the windscreen, and the whole thing just went. And of course, the first thing I'm thinking was, it's coming in on me, and I'm thinking, I don't want. So Mach 8.4, let's say it's going to be 560 knots worth of glass coming in on me at this airspeed. So I'm like dropping my seat to the bottom. I'm throwing my oxygen mask and goggles on, and I'm low riding. I'm like back like this below the windscreen thinking, okay, if it comes in, at least I'm only below the dash.
That's terrifying.
So we declared an emergency and we dived down and we end up landing at the St. Louis airport. And once we get off the airplane, we call back to the company, and the maintenance control's like, well, that windscreen's like 6 layers of glass. It's probably only 1 or 2 layers that's broke. It said it's perfectly fine to fly it to Louisville. We're like, no, there's a reason why we're in St. Louis. We have no intention on flying to Louisville.
Oh man, yeah. No, that. I don't know. I would not. I'd be you know, I can kudos to you. I'd be panicking and probably tears rolling down my eyes at that point.
Well, there was no time to cry. I promise you. You're more. You were looking for some concrete to land on. That was.
Yeah.
But no, it's it's like everything. You know, when you're faced with adversity, um, those other lessons that you've learned in life sometimes give you a calm to be able to overcome that. So just, think about this. Think when you see a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you know, you see him in a championship game and like they're down and there's no way they're going to score this next touchdown. And all of a sudden it's like this dude's just one calm cucumber, you know, the game slows down. He like steps inside their pocket, the rush goes by, he takes 2 steps, he starts to run forward, realizes where the line of scrimmage is, pulls up, throws some goofy underhand pass to Kelsey, and he runs for a touchdown. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's just experience that builds, and as it builds, it's funny how those lessons come out even when you're not thinking about them. You know, they just once again, I get back to every lesson you've learned in life just builds on itself to where whenever the time comes to make a decision, sometimes it's just there because of what you have behind you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So.
All right, sir. So, looking back at your journey from your early days in Cotulla to Texas A&M, the Marine Corps, and now UPS Airlines, what advice would you give to young athletes and students in Cotulla who are dreaming big but may not know where to start?
Oh, well, start with your coaches. I mean, you can YouTube anything, but you know, your coaches, I'll kind of caveat this. Okay. So dream big. Don't let anyone tell you can't. That would be my first piece of advice. Now God's given each one of us different talents. And sometimes our dreams might be bigger than what God's talents has given you can be. I mean, I'd have loved to have been a professional football player, but he didn't give me that talent. So, but he did give me the talent to play at the level I played at.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, don't ever take no for an answer, but also realize that whatever your dream is, you got to be able to commit to it. I told my children, all 3 of them, I have 3 daughters. I said, I want you to try everything you want to try, but when you start it, you're going to finish it. You don't have to do it again, but if you start it, you finish it. And I can't be more passionate for your dream than you. Okay? I will be with you 100% of the way. I will give 110%, but I can't give 110% if you're going to give me 85. You know, I can't give you 95 if you're going to give me 30.
Yes, sir.
No, you got to want it more than I want it. So, you know, your coaches, your family, you know, be vocal. Tell them, no, I really, really, really want it. And there may come a point in your journey to where it becomes apparent that maybe that's not for you, but then maybe it is. You don't know until you've at least stepped off to go on that journey. Otherwise, you're going to spend your life going, would I, could I have, should I have, you know, don't.
Yes, sir.
Dream big, commit to it, and then go with what God gives you. Because give God all the glory. I mean, he has a plan for you. His plans are for good. And if you will just listen to him and the voices of the good sound sage advice that he puts around you, you know, your coaches, your parents, any mentors that would give you some good advice, then reach for your dreams.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's beautiful advice and something that, hope I will be sharing, with our younger athletes, from high school all the way down to our Pee Wee organization. So I really appreciate that. And it's thank you so much for, sharing your incredible journey with us, from
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's even more my pleasure knowing that you're the son of one of my teammates, man. It's, lifelong friends. I mean, your dad and Sarah. I mean, come on. It's 19. I mean, gosh, I mean, really and truly, I met your dad probably in 1970. What would that be? 12, 6, 1972.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So no, that's when we became friends. Is all the way back then. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, and I can't put into words, how much he's raved about you, and whenever I went to the public to ask, for suggestions as far as guests, he threw you out right away, and we've talked about you before, speaking about you at A&M, you as a player in Cotulla, your career. I mean, it's always been cool to hear your story, and to finally hear it coming from you, seeing the memorabilia back there, it's to me, it's a cool experience on my end as well.
Well, I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. So the book that we wrote, that Coach Cheryl wrote, is called "No Experience Required," because that was actually the article they put in the school newspaper when they asked for tryouts. And my brother-in-law, this is no lie, my brother-in-law, who how I met my wife Penny, never played a down of football until he got to college. And he actually ended up lettering his senior year playing on the 12th man kickoff team.
Oh, wow.
So literally no experience required. He was in the Texas Aggie band his freshman year.
From band to
But
the
I'm gonna send you and your dad a book, and anybody who listens to this podcast who wants one, you let me know, and if I can, I'll get Coach to sign them. But we'll get a book sent to anyone on this podcast who wants to dream big, and we'll show you that dreams can come true.
Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So, now that we're getting to the end, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share?
No, man, I appreciate what you're doing. I mean, literally, this is like for the athletes in Cotulla to have someone like you giving them a voice and giving them insight and showing them, hey, there are people who've been successful who come from where you come from, and that means a lot, because I think sometimes when you're from a small town, you get washed out and thinking, well, I mean, we're not Allen, Texas. No, we're not. We're not Judson High School. Sometimes you think that you're irrelevant. You're not. I mean, anybody can be somebody if you want to be.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, Mr. Hillje, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this podcast. Your story is an inspiration to our community and a reminder of the hard work. That hard work can take you far, whether it's on the football field, in the skies, or beyond. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for representing Cotulla with such pride throughout your journey. To our listeners, thank you for tuning into this episode. We just really newly named it. It's Beyond the Game, Cotulla Backroads and Ball Games.
Like that.
Yeah. It was.
Like that.
We just kept going with Cotulla Sports Podcast, and I was like, we need a name.
Oh,
So,
backroads and ball games. I love it.
yeah. So I got to give all the credit to my cousin Aldo Molinaro. I'm sure you know Aldo.
Aldo, no way. Aldo,
yeah.
get out. I got a funny story about Aldo. in one of our first football games when I was quarterbacking.
Go ahead. Listen, we got to hear this one.
Aldo was one of the fastest guys on the team, right? And he's a wide receiver, but he'd get a little excited sometimes. So Coach Canales calls a play and he runs it out and he gets to a huddle and he gets out there and he goes, I forgot to play. No lie. Eighth grade. It was against Charlotte. It was a scrimmage, actually. So.
Oh, man. Was that the last time that he pulled that on you? Or?
I can't say he ever did that again, but that one was very memorable because he sprinted out. I mean, he was like, all right, he's going with the play. I'm like, he shakes his, I forgot to play.
Oh man, that is too funny. Yeah, so hopefully you've been able to see all these comments, Mr. Hillje. We've had.
Well, this is going to disappoint y'all. The pilot's got to put on his glasses to see the things that are coming through here. Okay.
So we've had my mom Sarah's been commenting. Robin Jones,
Okay.
My aunt Sandra. We have Mr. Roy Ayala as well.
Yeah.
Miss Miss Christina Yanez is actually one of our board members,
Okay.
here with our Cotulla Sports Association.
Uh-huh.
So they've all been, putting their comments out. I don't know if you can see this one in the bottom corner, Miss Ange D.
And G,
Yeah.
oh,
And we actually have somebody that wants a book. My
okay,
cousin
good.
Ralph Gonzalez.
Well, all
So
right. Okay, cool. Well, like I said, make a if I don't want to give you I only like load you up, but if you can give me a list with addresses, or I can send them all to one address, and then you can disseminate them. But
absolutely, no, really appreciate
I'd love to do that for any of your listeners, especially young listeners who, like I said, if they just want to be inspired, like, no, hey, it's you can do it. It's just, you have to be dedicated. You have to put in the time. You have to pursue your dream.
it. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir. All right. Well, thanks again, Mr. Hillje. Again, I really, really appreciate this. It's been definitely, a fun podcast, and something that I'm just, we're continuing to learn. We're going to build. We're trying
yeah,
to
no,
incorporate
I
more
think this
kids.
is
So,
great. You facilitated it very well, man. I mean, very well. I feel like your line of questioning and was seamless.
thank you, sir.
You
Appreciate
may.
that.
I mean, this might be your calling. Maybe you'll be on Channel 5 here before long, huh?
Hope so. Hope so. I see guys like Barstool Sports, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is probably one of my favorite shows, which was a podcast at the beginning, and now he's on ESPN. So, can't say I'll get there. If I do, I'll definitely probably be hoping to still be doing it from my house.
That's right. Yeah, we've got to ask you to stand up to see if you actually were like wearing pants or shorts, right?
They're short. They're short
Okay.
shorts. No shoes either. Just got somewhere else. I'm gonna be comfortable. I'm comfortable, but I always wear my. I wear
I
different.
see your. Oh, your mom said, "All right, you're welcome, Sarah. Miss you guys."
Yeah. So yeah, I always try to keep my attire Cotulla. We actually have another one. This is my lone podcast. I actually have another one that I do with a friend of mine from Pearsall, and we try to represent the Frio LaSalle counties.
Okay. Yeah.
So more small towns.
Yeah.
Again, more exposure.
Cool.
So if you have a chance, give us a follow. We're usually that's where I put the updates for Cotulla's playoff games right now. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I'll try to get you those 2 film snippets sent to you on your email to see so you can check it out. So.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to post those. So yeah, just email them to me and I'll have them up there right away.
Cool.
But thanks again, Mr. Hillje. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Great job. And
thanks, sir. I hope you have a good one, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. God bless.
Likewise. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there you have it. I mean, that was fun. Like I said, my father always told me stories about Bubba. To meet the man this time, absolute pleasure, and just an overall fun experience. To hear stories of somebody that came from Cotulla, from our roots to where we're at right now and where our kids are at. To see that there is success at as long as you put in that work. With that being said, we do have sponsors that have always helped us. As an organization, they're there for the kids. They're there for everything that we do, and I'd like to give them a big shout out because this season could not have been possible without their support, without them trusting us to make everything happen for these kids. And first of all, South Texas Live. Mr. Hillje, went to school with Mr. Ty Snowden's brother. So, right away when I brought up his company, he absolutely knew he had love for it. LaSalle County Steakhouse, once again, they're always supporting any small town organization, and we absolutely appreciate everything that they do for us, and great food. You can't go wrong at the steakhouse. Ace Hardware, lifelong friends of mine, Kayla, Emily, the Myers, great people. They always, again, they never turn us away. They're always there for us, and they're always there to encourage all our younger athletes. Dirt Road Designs, Miss Hillary, she will make us banners on the fly. I feel so bad for her because we don't give her much time, and she's getting this stuff done. So, thank you, Hillary, for everything that you do. Stockman's National Bank, Um, our vice president actually is employed there, but it's not her decision at the end. We have the presidents there, the Northcuts. They're always supporting our small town organization as well, and we always thank them. And finally, F4 Fitness. I mean, sorry, Fitness 4. I always get this name wrong, and I messed up his plaque, and I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia. But Fitness 4. Fitness 4 is again uh, it's our local gym, 24 hours if you purchase I believe a specific membership. So thank you to Mr. Ray Anthony for always supporting us in everything that we do. Um, and actually, there's one more. Let me just get this name right because I would hate to botch it. Uh, Harrington Ranch, where my cousin Aldo works. He's a guide. Remarkable ranch. I've been out there a time or two, and not just because it's family, but Aldo knows what he's talking about. He's put in a lot of school, a lot of work, and he definitely will put you on whatever, big buck, big time game out there. And last but not least, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. DNF Outfitters, Mr. Austin Dragoo. Kind of like an ad right here. Let me see if I could give it my best. Any hunters looking for a hunting guide, or just a hunt, they got it pretty much anything you're looking for. Whitetail, meat hunts, management deer, trophies, exotics. They got axis, oryx, black bucks, sika deer. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Rams, Pierre David deer, and red stag. He has a couple specials going out. Reach out to them. If you need Mr. Austin Dragoo's number, please feel free to reach out to me or the page, or if you want to, give us a call. Anything you possibly think of, just to reach out to them. Again, you can go through us, or if you want to look them up, DNF Outfitters. Big thank you to everybody that watched. Probably the biggest viewing, most comments that I've had, on any episode, and we look forward to growing. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. I don't know if like I said, I got some new equipment. There you go. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I got a little bit of music. Thank you to Miss Maldonado for helping me out with that. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna try to keep it on schedule. Monday, Tuesdays. If not, I might throw in a podcast here and there. I'm actually working on one with a couple of volleyball athletes and some of our Pee Wee boys who both have just completed their season. So once again, thank you, everybody, and we look forward to the next episode.